Good morning. A stretchy band and some block will very likely end up being useful. Take your time coming down onto your back, lying down on your mat. And once you're lying on your back, grab your strap and pull your right knee in towards your body. Take the strap and wrap it around the bottom of your foot, so just under your toes, kind of. And then press your leg up towards the ceiling or towards the sky. Using a little bit of resistance, see if you can pull your leg up towards your body. You don't have to force it. You don't want to make it hurt. But can you find a stretch there? And maybe you'll feel that stretch along the back of your leg. And then try pointing your foot, your toes, and then flexing your toes. And do that a couple of times. And notice how that changes things. What does that feel like? And you can use as much or as little resistance with this band as you like if you have a band. And if you don't have a band, you can do all this without the resistance of the band. And then flex your foot. The next time it's flexed, keep it flexed. Pull your knee in. Just bend your knee and notice where your knee naturally goes. So you're flexing your hip, your knee, your ankle, and then press your leg back up. And then pull your knee in again and press your leg up at a different angle. Doesn't matter what angle. Try that a few times, trying out a different angle each time. So you might be pressing your leg over to one side when you straighten that out again. You might try doing it to both sides. You might try doing it low. You might try doing it really high. Pay attention to the back of your hips on the ground. See if you can keep them pretty level on the ground as you're moving like this. The next time your leg is in, you can take the band and remove it from your foot. Set it up on the other side. So your right foot will be on the ground this time, and you wrap the band around your left foot. And stretch it up. Then again, using some resistance, see about pulling your leg up toward your body. And then try pointing and flexing your foot a few times. Notice what it feels like. Is it different on this side than it was on the first? Or does it feel pretty much the same? And maybe notice if there are places where you're kind of clenching and holding tension where you don't need to. And the next time your foot is flexed, try pulling your knee in toward your body and then press it away. Keep doing that, trying out different angles each time, just like we did on the first side. Again, you can be using as much or as little resistance as you like. You can try out any angle you like. But see if it is possible to keep your hips, the back of your hips, pressing pretty evenly into the floor. So rather than rolling over to one side or the other, can you stay pretty level? And then release that, pull your knee down, set your band aside. Come into tabletop. So you'll be on hands and knees here, or tabletop, or bar manasana. And once you're here, extend your left leg out to the side. So your left foot will be flat on the floor, kind of in line with your knee. And then try sending your hips back and down to any degree, and then lifting them up again. And if this is uncomfortable for your wrists, you can use your blocks under your hands here. That can sometimes be helpful, just by lifting your upper body up. Sometimes it sends the weight back towards your lower body a little more. So move pretty slowly here and see if you can feel a stretch. The next time your hips are lifted, bring your left leg in and extend your right leg out. Try the same thing on this side. Next time your hips are lifted, pull your extended leg in and extend the other one back out. So you're reversing again. Walk your hands back and lift yourself up into a tall kneeling position. And once you've done that, try extending your arms out into a T. And bring your attention to your shoulders. So your shoulders will be in a neutral for you position. See if it's possible if you can roll your shoulders forward. So you're rolling them from the shoulder joint, coming into internal rotation. And then bring them back to neutral. And then see if you can roll them backwards. And then come back to neutral. Really pay attention to whether this is coming from your lower arms, which is just you have two bones down here and you can rotate them pretty easily, or is it really coming from your shoulder? So try it again, see if, and you don't have to force it. Probably it's not going to be a huge movement, but internally rotate them and then externally rotate them a few times. And then you can drop your arms and kind of shake them out a little. Then lift your arms again. And this time, externally rotate your outer arm. So that'll be your right arm. So you're rolling it back. And internally rotate your left arm. And then reverse. And then reverse. Try that a few times, changing it up. The next time your outer arm is externally rotated, so maybe your palm will be up, your other arm is internally rotated. Try bending your elbows and see what happens. So your lower arm will probably come behind your hips, your upper arm behind your head. And then just bring them back out again. You can drop your arms for a minute, shake them out. Then lift them up and try that again. So internally rotating your left arm, externally rotating your right arm, bend your elbows. So maybe you're holding your arm, your hand behind your head and your hand behind your hips. And see if it's possible to, instead of resting your hands on your body, can you hover them behind your body here? Just notice if that's possible. Then extend your arms back out and shift it again. So this time, externally rotate your left arm, internally rotate your right, bend your arms. See if you can hover your hands behind your body. And then switch and bend. Try it again. Switch and bend. Try it a number of times, going at your own pace, just noticing, where do you feel this? Maybe you feel it in your shoulders. Very likely that'll be where you feel it. And the next time your arms are out to the sides, you can drop them down, shake them out, seaweed them around, whatever feels good. Extend them out one more time. This time, externally rotate your outer arm, internally rotate your inner arm. Bring your hands behind you and maybe lean over towards your extended leg. Notice if you can feel a stretch along your outer side body here. And take a couple of breaths. And if you don't want to keep hovering your hands, that's okay. At any point, you can rest your hand on your head, rest your hand on the back of your hips. But if hovering your hands feels like, yeah, I can do that, go ahead and do it. And when you're ready, you can come up, release your arms. If you need to shake anything or move it around, go ahead. And then bring your hands down, pull your left leg in and extend your right leg out. Walk your hands back, come up. Find your tall kneeling position. This time, extend your arms out to the side. Externally rotate your outer arm. Internally rotate your inner arm. Bend your elbows. Maybe hover your hands, maybe rest your hands on your body. And maybe, if it feels okay, lean towards that extended leg. And if having your arms in this position is like, hey, I've had enough of that, that's fine. You can always let it go. Right now, you're really looking for this side stretch. When you're ready, come back up, release your arms, swing them around if that feels good, or just rest them if that feels better. And bring your hands down, pull your knee in, and make your way up to standing in whatever way works for you. So take your time getting there. And when you're ready, let's try breath of joy. So breath of joy is a 3-part inhale with a big sigh out the mouth. So you inhale through your nose, and the movements that go with it are you, on the first inhale, lift your arms up halfway in front of you. On the second inhale, swing them out to the side. On the final inhale, you swing them all the way up. And then as you exhale out your mouth, you squat down and bend forward as much or as little as you like. Swing your arms back. So I'll show you once what it might look like. And it can be as big or as small, as vigorous or as gentle as you like. So let's do 5 of those. Ready? Start. Final one. Come back to mountain pose. Pause for a moment. If you want to close your eyes, close your eyes. If you want to squeeze your palms together, squeeze your palms together. And just notice what you're feeling. As you're ready, walk over to the left side of your mat. Step your right foot out into a wide-legged position. And once you're in that wide-legged position, if you want to try a forward fold, you can. And I forgot to set my blocks up, but if you have your blocks, you might want to use your blocks. So feel free to grab them. Hinging from your hips, fold forward halfway, maybe bringing your hands to your blocks, maybe bringing fingertips or palms to the floor. Your degree, noticing, keeping a flat back, noticing where can you feel a stretch and where do you feel your body working. And one thing you might consider adding in here, if it feels okay, as you're hovering with your flat back, would be bringing your arms out to the side, internally rotating one arm, externally rotating the other, and then bending your elbows to hover your hands behind your head and your hips, and maybe trying that on both sides. So straightening out, bending, straightening it out, bending. Just like we did down on our mat. And if that doesn't feel useful to you, you can totally skip it. But if you're doing it, bring your hands back down and then lift yourself back up. Turn your right toes to face the short edge of your mat. Bend through your right knee. And notice where your hips want to be. So they can be wherever feels right. You might try kind of turning them a few times, finding what is a comfortable position for your hips. Then extend your arms out to the side. You're in your warrior two. Take a few deep breaths here. Maybe turn your head to look over your right fingertips. You might try bending and straightening your leg a few times, maybe lifting your arms up as you straighten your leg and bringing them back down as you bend. And check in with your neck. See what your neck wants to do. So it may be that it wants to just face the long edge of your mat. It might be that it wants to turn and look over the short edge. The next time your knee is bent, you might pause there and bring your forearm of your right arm down to your knee for side angle. Maybe keeping your left hand on your hip, maybe lifting it up, maybe externally rotating it and hovering that hand behind your head. So you might still be in warrior two, maybe bending and straightening your leg. You might be trying out side angle here, Parsvakonasana. If you're in side angle, lift yourself back up. If you're in warrior two, straighten your leg. Turn your right toes to face the long edge of your mat, and turn your left toes to face the short edge of your mat. Find your footing, bend through your left knee. You can scoot your feet around as needed. Find a comfortable place to hold your hips. Really check in and see what's going to work for you here. And a comfortable degree to bend your leg. When you're ready, you might try extending your arms out. Maybe you turn your head to look over your left fingertips this time. Really trying out all the same things we tried on the last side. and noticing what works for you. You might bend and straighten through your knee, lifting your arms up, possibly. You might hold this steady, whatever works. Just make sure you're really checking in. If you kind of think back, if you read the email that I sent out this week, everyone has their own capacity for physical movement, and it may be different from one moment to the next. But really, what is yours right now, and what is going to fit comfortably and within your capacity, within your bellows. And then as you're ready, if you want to try transitioning into side angle, maybe you try that here. There are different options you could choose from. Your arm might be up, might be down, might be externally rotated with a bent elbow, hovering your hand behind your head. And if you are in side angle, you might consider bringing your attention to your feet and noticing, where is your weight? Are both of your feet active, supporting you? You might also bring your attention to your lower shoulder and notice if it's kind of crunching up towards your neck. And if so, can you find some space there? If you're in side angle, lift yourself back up. If you're in warrior two, straighten that knee, turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat, and try another forward fold here. So you could come down halfway and hover like we did last time. Maybe support yourself with your fingertips, maybe bring your hands to your blocks. And if you want to try folding forward more, dropping your head towards the floor, you could do that. If you're doing that, your hands might be on the floor or your hands might be around your ankles. Just make sure again that you're choosing based on, what is my capacity today? How do I feel? What is going to benefit me in the future rather than making me feel like I overdid it tomorrow? If you're folded forward all the way, dropping your head down, come halfway up, pause. And as you're ready, everyone lift yourself back up to standing. If you need to press your hands together to alleviate any dizziness, go ahead and do that. And then take your time, stepping, walking, hopping yourself in, and make your way down to seated. Once you're seated, decide how you would like to spend Shavasana. Because here we are at the end of practice already. So if you want to lie down, you can lie down. If you want to sit, you can sit. Just make sure you set yourself up to be comfortable so that you can find something that feels pretty restful. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. And if it's useful for you, you might pay attention to your breath. You might pay attention to a sound. You might find a sensation where you rest your attention. But notice if you start to get carried away by your thoughts. And when you notice, see if it's possible to let them go and just rest in the present. If your mind is wandering, maybe see if you can drop your thoughts and come back to the present. You can start to deepen your breath and find a little bit of movement. Or if you're really feeling Shavasana and you want to stay in Shavasana, you could do that. But if you're ready to come out, take your time finding a little movement, opening your eyes if they're closed, and transitioning from whatever position you're in to a seated position. And as you're ready, if you want to place your hands in Anjali Mudra, a gesture of offering, feel free to do that. Take a moment to see if you can find a specific reason to offer yourself some appreciation. And then a moment to appreciate the practice of yoga, an ancient Indian practice. And thank you for practicing with me today.